Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Hope your day is going really good. My name is James Maupin, and this is the beginning of my podcast. This podcast is going to be addressing how reaching your goals in the gym is the same as reaching your goals as a musician. I'm going to be covering how the same application for reaching success in the gym, no matter what your fitness level is, will be the same as reaching your success as a musician. All right, so a little bit of background about myself. I have been playing trumpet majority of my life. I am 20 years old and I started playing when I was only 6. I am currently pursuing an undergrad at Adams State University in Colorado for a degree in trumpet performance as well as music business. A little bit more about me is I have really been, I would say, overweight the majority of my life. And really in high school, I wanted to get into fitness because I wanted to make a change. And because I was overweight, I saw that as an opportunity. So when I was in high school, I pursued powerlifting and strength training. Since then, I have competed in multiple events, the main one being the USAPL in Aurora, Colorado. And since then, I have been off and on athlete, but I have really pursued always getting stronger, always learning more. And I'm about to show you my experience and give you my feedback on how reaching your goals in the gym is the same as reaching your goals as a musician. So the main topics I want to talk about, because I do plan to have this podcast be extended over at least 10 episodes minimum. The topics I want to talk about today will be goal setting, long-term commitment, consistency, and what makes you happy long-term and what makes you happy short-term. So I'm going to apply this to my powerlifting background. So for me, goal setting has always been probably my biggest issue when it comes to powerlifting. I tend to set goals that are way too big, way too out of proportion, and that are just overall very unrealistic. My main goal, I remember when I first started back in high school, my sophomore year, is as soon as I walked into that gym and I realized how quickly I was able to build strength, I was bound determined that I wanted to be an athlete. I was bound determined I wanted to be like the next Arnold, bound just 100%. I wanted to lift weights. I wanted to be a professional weightlifter. So the thing is, for me, once I started, that was the only goal that I had set for myself. When I was in high school, the biggest thing for me was how quickly I was able to gain strength and how much I wanted to really build up my strength in a short amount of time. When you're first starting, when you're first getting into powerlifting, you don't know how quickly you are capable of gaining mass. You don't know how capable you are at being consistent for this new goal, this new hobby that you are picking up, and you just don't know your own power. The thing for me is I really was able to gain strength. So when I first started lifting, I was able to bench press I'd say probably around 135. Keep in mind I was only a young high schooler at the time, but once I worked out after 3 weeks, I'd say I hit bench press probably twice every week for 3 weeks. After those 3 weeks, I had gained 30 pounds on my bench press, and I was absolutely astonished by it. And so the thing that I learned overall from when I very first started, even without proper diet, is I was able to gain strength very fast, and I used that to set my own goals. So for me, my main goal was to gain about 10 to 15 pounds on each of my maxes. This goes for bench press, squat, my deadlift, everything. My goal was to gain 10 pounds of strength, or be able to lift 10 pounds more than I was the time before every month, right? And this was a really good, just overall long-term goal for me. I wanted to build strength. I wanted to build a lot of muscle. And overall, I really just kind of wanted to break myself out of that shell that I was in as it being very overweight at the time when I was. So when it comes to goal setting, the biggest mistake that I've seen everybody make is they get into the gym and they realize based off their first few weeks that it's going to be very difficult for them to stay consistent because they will end up being very sore, they will be very unmotivated, and they will never think about it. One of the most popular things that I've heard is it takes 21 days to break a bad habit. And that really stuck with me because after the first 3 weeks, like I said, when I gained 30 pounds on my bench press, I had also broken past that plateau where I always feel sore after a workout no matter what. Once I broke past that plateau, I realized that goal setting was the most important part of your mental process when approaching this. So when it came to getting stronger, the term that I always heard from coaches is eat more, eat more, eat more. Don't eat smart, just eat more. No matter what. And that's the thing. It works. If you're trying to build strength, if you're trying to put on weight in any way, shape, or form, the biggest thing that they will tell you is lift more weight, eat more, and just keep going, no matter what it is. All these very terrible carbs, all these very terrible sugars, they may put fat on you, but they will also really help you build strength. They are a very good building block for muscle. The biggest thing that I see these days for people who have even been in the gym for, per se, let's say 4 months, no matter what, consistency is never going to be the same if you are not very particular about your goal. When you first set your goal, you want to set yourself boundaries for what you know you can do and what you know you can't. Like obviously, if you're just getting into the gym, it's probably unrealistic to say you want to be able to lift like 200 pounds more on your squat within the next 2 months. And it is very difficult for people to continue to do that. One of the biggest things I see when people are reaching for their goals is their consistency will always change because they are constantly adjusting because they do not think that they will reach this goal in time. This goal that is outrageously out of their control, outrageously unproportionate, absolutely just unrealistic. They will, no matter what, they will keep changing themselves. They will not stay consistent because all they want is to reach that goal. So they will continuously make it harder on themselves. Then what happens after 2 months when they wanted to reach that goal that they had set, that very unrealistic goal, and they find out they don't achieve it, they just quit. That's the most common thing, just they quit right then and there. So realistically, when you're in the gym, you have to set yourself boundaries by being consistent. Set yourself certain days that you know you're going to hit what muscle group. Say on Mondays, you're going to hit chest. Do that every Monday. Even if you have to miss a day, keep doing that every Monday. As a musician, I've noticed that when it comes to consistency, it's almost like a pattern. For being a musician, I see that a person's practice schedule, it'll be the exact same way as I see their workout schedule. They will set very long goals, very hard, very unachievable goals. They will practice only for one piece when really there are so many other like fundamental basis things that you have to practice in order to reach this goal. For me as a trumpet player, I practice lip slurs, I practice tonality technique, all of these so I can apply them to one certain goal. And that's very common for musicians to do as it's required. It just doesn't make sense for people to only practice one song, walk into a practice room or in your living room or wherever people practice. They will walk in there, practice only that music. They will not take the time to warm up. They will not take the time to get themselves adjusted. They will only take the time to practice for that one piece, and they will not apply any other learning methods. That is very important for achieving that goal. And the same goes for the gym. People set very high goals. They really want to get that 350-pound squat. So they squat every day, but realistically, they don't understand how important these isolating workouts, such as a leg extension or leg curls or any of those, they do not understand how important those are as a fundamental towards muscle growth and how much it will aid in their squat. They show up, they really want to gain a squat. All they do is squat, and that's it. Then they go home and eat. And they're all proud of themselves. They're all hyped up. They lifted at the gym today. They think they're making progress. But realistically, what do? They go home and they absolutely just binge. They binge and they binge on all these unhealthy things that are just slowing down progress. One of them could be food. One of them could be watching TV on the couch. One could be engaging in very inconsistent, unhealthy activity at home, no matter what that could be. And they don't understand that it's the fundamentals that they did not apply are what are not going to get them to that goal. So next I'm going to talk about what makes you happy long term and what makes you happy short term, and which one is more important. And this is really based on decision making, something that will make you happy short term. Per se, you've had a long day at work, you decide to stop at McDonald's or at a bar, get a drink, get food, get something very unhealthy because it'll satisfy that craving, and you will be happy short term. The problem is nobody ever looks at the bigger picture for what will make you happy long term. They will set themselves goals. They'll be like, oh, I want to lift a lot of weight, I want to get into excellent shape. But then they get that same feeling later that day, and it's like, McDonald's sounds really good right now. What people don't understand is when they make these decisions, these short-term happiness decisions, such as going to McDonald's, they are really sacrificing any chance of having a long-term goal make you happy. When I say long-term, I'm really considering 6 to 8 months for you to achieve. What people do not understand is how bad these decisions that will make you happy short term are damaging the goals that you have set for yourself. These short term decisions are very, very unhealthy ones. They are the reason that a lot of people will fail when working for their goals, no matter what they are. The thing that makes you be long term is really based off of your grit, your overall inner drive for success. Your overall inner drive for success can easily be defeated by a simple craving, such as wanting to go home, have McDonald's, stopping at a bar on your way home. All of these things are sacrificing your goals, especially if your goal is for fitness. One thing that I feel all people who are just getting into the gym, just started working towards any goal, no matter what it is they need to learn to recognize what's going to make them happy long term before they make a decision that will make you happy short term. If you can master this power, your goals will be limitless and you will have uncontrollable success. So realistically, once you do master the ability to stop yourself from making a destructive short-term decision, such as going to McDonald's when you're trying to lose weight, and be able to recognize your long-term goals before you make this decision, it will basically give you a superpower. Your ability to achieve goals will all of a sudden become so realistic that all you'll want to do is just set more and more goals. You will realize that you have a power within yourself, and you will want to continue to use this power. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. My name is James Maupin, signing off.